200.
Yeah, so the fact that Trill was able to play as well as he did, just going through literally half the world, props to Trill.
Very big props there. Both teams now getting ready to move out here on Lijiang, our first map, the control map of the day. Square One looking to run their pretty standard composition. XL2 running Frill on this Mei rather than the D.Va.
And again, these Mei setups, they can work if you get good value off the walls, but if the wall fails, you're in a very, very rough circumstance. Wall comes out early, they dive on in, they look for Joel. It works out. They get Joel early, they lose Frill, but that's a solid trade. So long as Akawa can stay alive, and it's looking like he will, XL2 now with an edge if they just push Square One.
Hot date getting demech there as well. XL2 moving towards the point. They still have that barrier for Akawa. Kirby going very low, taking a lot of damage from Ultraviolet. I think Square One are going to look for the recontest though, considering that Jolf are back. Yeah, Jolf is back in, and now XL2, they have to give a little bit of space. They have to hope to land a good wall here once more while Kirby is in the process of building up the grab. Wall is up, grab is in, comes in right as the wall does, and it's very good fall through for XL2. Denying any chance for Square One to get their support ults in time. Early grab from Kirby also, and the wall denying any follow-up, any help coming for the front line of Square One. So now XL2 firmly hold the point, but they did have to invest the grab, and they don't have a lot of cleanup. Remember, there's no combo available for XL2 while there's no D.Va. But this is still a really good spot for the Mei. The Mei shines once you have control. The wall comes in, not quite able to split out as effectively as I think XL2 would have liked their. Square One still in a reasonable spot, but they lose Hot Date. Hot Date can't get healed up in time. Kirby down though. Shattered blocked by the wall. Fantastic wall coming out there to split Square One again, and XL2 off of this. Square One investing in the trance here. They're still not in a great position. There's the grab. Can they clean up? I mean, there's no combo. The Hot Date's not there. That was so questionable for Square One. They shouldn't have invested what they did there towards the end. Even this fight works out, in which right now it's looking to be more of a back and forth brawl that XL2 could win. It wasn't ideal in the least. A wall locking in the Square One backline here too. Kawa trying to swing. He drops that shadow. Are they going to clean up Ultraviolet? They should. Hot Date stuck out of the mech. And really scrappy fight, but great walls out of Frill, and Square One are overcommitting ults to fights that they really can't win. Well, Frill is getting what you need on a Mei. To make Mei effective, you have to get good splits, and so far, he's been getting good splits and isolations on the key members. If I'm XL2 here, or if I'm Square One, I really want to stop rotating through the stroke and go far side, because that's how you make sure the Mei has the Haku gets Ultraviolet from the spam, nose in, and the split! What a good engage for XL2 off the Zen pick. Frill just says, you know what, I'm going to split you off here. Walks back over. Square One, please. Please go a different angle instead of going through main. I beg of you. They don't have a lot of time now, though, anyways. I mean, it's the last fight. Realistically, they have to get to the point. I mean, they're at risk of just getting... He strikes again! The Madman does it one more time. The wall splits off Dove. Dove has nowhere to go. It's an icy prison. And XL2, that was dirty and dominant at the same time. They didn't have... Square One had no answer to the Mei. There were some times where it looks like they could have flipped the fight, but much better ult usage from XL2. And now it's going to be the first round here on Lijiang going the way of XL2 Academy. Looking strong so far. Square One just need to play around those swaps differently. A lot of teams, they get stuck in a mindset, I think, where like, we have to go this way, we have to go this way. We've been playing this way for a while, but when a swap is out, when a Mei is out, you have to play differently. You can't just try to force it down the main, especially when Haku is sniping your players. Well, that can't be understated either, where Haku basically gave XL2 2 free fights there, and it's something that a Zen that's doing well will give to you every now and then. You will just win fights because your Zen has put a right click in the right place at the right time. Square One, we'll see if they can bring things back as we have the night market. Jolf just charging on in. Jolf very aggressive here on the shield, trying to get that damage out. Bubble outplayed, traded for both teams. Oh, down! 2! That was a spicy fire strike if there ever was one. Takes down 2 immediately. And XL2, they don't have to do anything crazy here. Off of that, they can just go back in. And XL2 had better bubbles to set that up. Much better bubbles, but also a very, very meaty fire strike for Akawa. Able to get those 2 frags there. Clean up that early damage. And now Square One having to recontest the point. Ult still not like hugely favoring either one team. However, XL2, their front line looked a little bit stronger to take the front. I mean, Kevster would have built 4 grabs by now. Come on. Kevster would have built many grabs. Square One, though, looking for a way in. Jolf under heavy pressure. Bubble already invested, so he's very vulnerable. Half HP. Akawa gets dash. Akawa shatter. He goes so deep, but he's still alive. He's turning the shield around in all ways, hoping, praying that he gets back into it, and he's actually still alive. Self-destruct going to the back. Gets onto Yaki.
but I don't think that's going to be enough. XL2, they transcend, they go back the other way.
Ultraviolet deciding to contest the point, but he's just staggering himself.
Also, you're a Zenyatta. You can't ride on walls. This isn't going to end well for you.
Joel picks up Haku, but Ultraviolet goes down and returns to square one. Can't push. The bomb was solid. Akawa going so deep for that shatter early in the fight, and here comes square one to the point. They're there without Ultraviolet. They're contesting.
Contest coming in. Early Earth Shatter in from square one. XL2 shrugging it off a Graviton. Coming in. They lose Yaki, but Big All out. Both teams down a Brigida. Square one desperately trying to bring it back over. Graviton now up for dub. Frill gone. Square one aggressing. Again, Graviton still in reserve as Akawa's under pressure. He's going to fall. And square one won't even have to invest in it.
Now, square one finally picking up the point. Akawa will have that shatter, but Dove still holding on to the grab. Also hot date with the bomb coming up very, very soon. Square one has the ults. They have the resources they need, but the time bank is against them.
XL2, plenty of time in reserve here. Next fight, again, as you say, might not go well for them, but that's fine. They can lose a fight here and still be in a good spot.
So square one should realistically be trying to look to not invest any support ults in this fight. They just want to use the combo. Not even necessarily the combo, just the grab, really.
Yeah, I mean, a good grab would be a one fight here.
That's a pretty good grab.
Drops a grab, follow through coming in, counter shatter in from XL2, but it's not enough. There's just not the support ults to survive through the grab. But on the same note, if you're XL2, you're still reasonably okay with that outcome.
You're reasonably happy. I mean, having to get the combo out from square one is very important. However, Angelic gonna have the beat. Ultraviolet coming up, I should say, on that Transcendence. Especially since Akawa invested the shatter there himself. So really the crux for both these teams, the turning point is going to be based around how does XL2 put out this grab for Frill along with Kirby's follow-up with the bomb.
Interesting enough, because Akawa got out there, he was able to get a really long Harmony Orb treatment there. It gave Haku Transcendence immediately to start this fight. He didn't even have to fish for damage.
I really, square one could look to be aggressive if they want. It's a little too late now considering that Frill has that grab. So now they're going to be looking to maybe invest double support ult or even just dry fight.
This is where the map is going to be decided on. XL2, it's a fight they need to win. They do have a slight edge moving forward. Rally coming out here, counter rally in from square one. Heavy shield pressure on the Jolf. Jolf is in a really tough spot here. Shield's about to break. Drops the shower. They get Frill. They get Frill. The Transcendence not in the nick of time. It's not there. Square one, they drop the barrier. It's a good counter engage. Ultraviolet still holding on Transcendence. Oh, takes down Haku. And now we're looking at the possibility of round 3 here. Square one should be able to hold.
Really great shatter from Jolf there. Isolating Frill, denying the grab, getting the pick early. A lot of damage out when Zarya's gone. And no grab, so important. Square one holding the point. Still, XL2 coming back with that combo.
Graviton coming out, Ultraviolet getting on the Jair. And XL2 on a whim and a prayer. They're hoping for anything. The shatter is going to connect,
too late, though.
It's not in time for the bomb, which was what they were really hoping for.
And this should be square one picking up the point. Dub about to have another grab. They're also healthy. 6 members alive for square one. Really well played from them. Jolf in particular having some good shatters. So bringing it back, tying it up 1-1 here on Lijiang.
And I mean, it's superb for square one as well because they started out pretty far behind here. If you look at where this went, I mean, XL2, they had plenty of time on their side. Just one bad engage after another leads to the result. And now square one might be looking to get a little bit freaky with it here.
Looking to get a little bit freaky with it here. ZP, NA Contenders 2019.
Look, what else are you going to call it?
I want to throw that. I want to see that on a billboard.
What else are you going to call it?
I'm going to call it triple DPS rather than freaky.
All right.
I don't want a 70s Love Cruise vibe for my Contenders cast, but
you know what? Sometimes that's what you get. Either way, it's going to be Farah here in the sky. Big All setting up XL2. They're running Frill on the Ashe, so what is going to win here is Frill immediately bops Hot Date.
Hot Date very quickly. Kirby as well on this Sombra. It's the pretty much the mirror triple DPS, but with the Ashe rather than the Tracer.
You know, we haven't seen Ashe versus Tracer a whole lot, obviously, because of where the meta is, but I gotta tell you, it's not the most fun experience for a Tracer.
It's like a better McCree setup for the Ashe, since you have more cooldowns to keep you alive and get you away from the Tracer. And if you just hit your shots, you win.
Yeah, I mean,
that's really all it comes down to.
And obviously, like an Ashe headshot, that's just going to eliminate Tracer outright. Boop attempt coming out here.
They're engaging onto the Haku as well. Jolf there with Dub. Angelic hacked down from Akawa.
XL2, meanwhile, on the far. Ultraviolet in a real danger here. Yaki coming down. Needs to land one more rocket. And Frill on the other side finds Hot Date. 67%, getting real close to bomb.
So low.
Frill going to be taken down here. Very back and forth here between the two teams.
However, Yaki going to be going back to spawn. I think actually just going to be making the swap potentially. As now, Square One making the flip. Ultraviolet going onto that Moira, having him be a little bit more sustainable. You see, it was actually extremely important there in that fight because there was trying to be XL2 was trying to be aggressive onto Ultraviolet, but he was staying alive. The sustain so important from his orbs, his right click. Square One as well going back to spawn, making the swap. Both teams essentially full swapping. Dove on that Sombra, still holding onto the EMP. We've
gone from wild and chaotic to standard and what some people would consider mundane here. It's 3-3. It's solid. It's
good engage.
The EMP coming out from Dove, who is still in the Sombra. It's not full 3-3 for them, and it's Square One using it to their advantage.
Really good engage. I'm interested to see if Dove actually decides to make the swap now that the EMP is out. Maybe just go back and go play Zarya.
Well, let's see. Yep, you are correct.
There it is. Dove back on the Zarya. EMP used. XL2, they were actually had Haku on that Moira for that fight, hoping that it would negate some of the value from the Sombra, but now making swap back onto Xin. However, in return, giving Ultraviolet the Transcendence advantage because he was on that Moira.
Well, in all these back and forth battles, Square One has built a pretty beefy advantage here, both in ults and certainly in progress. Jolt holding back a little bit. Earth Shatter in reserve. His shield under enormous pressure right now. He drops the Shatter as a result. Doesn't quite go. But nice charge!
Yeah, good bomb charge.
The charge setting up the bomb so well there. And now Square One, arguably one fight away from taking map one away from XL2.
Still no support ults up for XL2. 0 support ults, which are so important in terms of breaking open, sustaining yourself in the fight, especially considering Square One has all three support ults. Square One, they should recognize this and be so aggressive here.
Yeah, they can just simply dive at him. And here's the good thing too, XL2's make it easy. They're going into the white room. There's no better room than just pop your ults and go in. And now, barrier out immediately. Ultraviolet holding on to Transcendence.
No combo for XL2.
XL2's at such
Shattered!
Shattered, knocking down two. Transcendence about to be coming in for Ultraviolet. And Hitaku taken for a ride. Square One. There's almost no chance he would lose that fight there.
There's the grab out. Jolt on the backline swinging, trying to survive. No touch for XL2 Academy. And Square One looking very good on Lijiang. Kind of a rough start on Control Center, but much better on the other maps.
Very solid for Square One, where it came up to a rough start, but XL2 just kind of falling apart there. And you talk about the chaos early in that last round, Square One came out very far ahead.
Square One, it seems like they had a little bit better grasp of how they wanted to engage with triple DPS. Also had a slightly better comp to start out with, considering they're running something with a little bit more synergy. The Ashe is great if you're trying to deny the Pharah, but the problem with Ashe is that your team's going to be looking for that backline presence. They're going to be looking to jump on top of you when the Sombra Tracer and the Hammond or Winston's out. So really, it was Square One just coming up on that early on that fight, having the EMP for the next, and then much better usage of their ults in the 3-3.
Also, Ashe is one of those classes of heroes where I feel like for most players, you're not going to get really peak performance on her unless you're playing her constantly. It's like the McCree and Widow play of old, right? Where if players aren't playing it actively, you're not getting the pure dominance that you would be if they were. I think Ashe, you take a look at how that started, a hero with enormous potential, but I don't think it was quite capitalized on there.
No, definitely not. I mean, Frill had some good moments, but realistically, it is also just anti-synergy with how the 3-3 works because of how aggressive that Square One were able to be, catapult their ult advantage. But that's going to be the 1-0 so far for Square One in the series, picking up that control map, Lijiang.
And again, I mean, we kind of thought that XL2 might have some issues here with the new roster, and definitely a bit shaky at times versus Square One, where both these teams out to prove themselves, and now as we move to Eichenwald, we'll see if things can be changed up a bit.
Eichenwald is going to be our hybrid map of the series. And really, I want to see how Square One can sort of work, considering that they need to get the point. They need to also make those swaps when necessary, and really having the cart as an objective rather than that control point changes how teams' focus can be.
It absolutely does, and I would say here is that you have more time to be consistent on hybrid relative to control, where control, I mean, as it is, 3-3 setups can be pretty snowballing to begin with, but you add in the inherent nature of a control map, and it can be hard to get the game back in control after suffering a little bit of roughness in the beginning. But it's going to be XL2 here first on the attack, and we'll see just how they decide to handle things here.
It's actually going to be Moopy in for that main tank role as well. No Akawa. Moopy, we've seen him actually on Sky Foxes, which was a team who was in previous contender season and moving up through trials and things like that. He's actually had a decent amount of Hammond play So I'm not surprised to see Moopy in if they want to be running Hammond more rather than those traditional main tanks. But actually making this swap for Ryan, so maybe not.
I mean, maybe just keeping the option open a little bit later. Yaki might look for a quick snipe here, but I can't imagine he's going to stand the Widow for long. And I think that was just checking for a Pharah.
Yeah, really looking for that comp there. And something interesting for Square One here, it's not a pure mirror because they do have the Ana instead of that Zen.
Interesting setup here. Ana, of course, can be pretty effective on defense, but it comes down to the Bio-Nades. Are you going to get good value off them or not?
The Bio-Nades are just so important. You see how aggressive Square One are being here trying to get it, but XL2 using the Focus Fire, using the Discord, catching Big Ol very early. Big
Ol's out of the fight immediately. Square One already working at a pretty big disadvantage, and XL2 just simply walking over him.
And, you know, Ultraviolet sees 80% to Nano, but that's really not going to win you the point. XL2 recognizing that the faster the fight goes and denying those Bio-Nades, the better it is because Discord, the Zen damage, so much more presence, so much more pressure onto the front line.
And Ultraviolet done, doesn't even care about the Nano boost, and frankly, Transcendence is so good by comparison, it's the right move to move the Zen
It's
here.
always the right move, and not as only is Transcendence the better ultimate and the best overall support role, but the Discord and the damage from Zen are just so important for the shield trade, for the Focus Fire.
Square One gonna try and get back into this by being pretty aggressive here at the gates of point B. XL2 though, they have enormous resources this, and of course a very self-evident advantage in Transcendence just because
the longer this fight runs, it's better for Square One actually. XL2 should have been using their advantages early. Great shot for Joel!
Joel reading into that situation so incredibly well.
Wow, yeah, he deserves the emote there. He deserves the emote at one ult as opposed to XL2 having that ult pick advantage early on, the support ult advantage.
You know, I got humbled, Joel, a little bit. You were playing much better here today, but please don't forget what Fisher, a DPS player, did to you last week.
Well, you
calm it down a little bit.
Everyone has roots. Everyone has to start somewhere. Joel, great shadow there. XL2 now moving out from spawn. They do have a pretty significant ult bank.
XL2 moving forward. Rally going to be invested here. They get immediately grabbed. Here comes self-destruct. Transcends up, but might not save it. No, absolutely not. Hot take. That's 3.
Off the boop too. Square One still caught in the grab, still able to set up the boop. Square, and this is the difference between Phase 2 energy last game. Square One, look how aggressive they're being. They were down in the ult bank and they still set up their own ults first. They're looking for the counter engages. This is the play you want to see.
XL2, they've been looking positively passive by comparison. Jolf's gonna get chunked early on, but now moving back forward, he's feeling himself because an Earth Shatter about to be coming up here. Being pretty aggressive with it now. Self-destruct though, on the way up, he counters with the Shatter right on the ground. Big Ol can't get away from the self-destruct though,
Bomb
and
from
XL2,
Kirby, too good.
Yeah, it's too much damage from the self-destruct.
I mean, the Shatters traded, they were on the ground. Kirby's bomb was there to follow up. So good setup for XL2, just trying to break. But the thing is, they had to invest so many ults to get out of spawn.
And to a degree, that's a win for Square One here, where, okay, Square One invested a lot as well, but look at where the payload is. They have time to recover.
They do, and Ultraviolet has that trance. They're also holding the beat, so ahead comparatively to Angelic, but Square One has to be happy so far with the hold.
XL2 can drop on over. Square One holding on to Transcendence in reserve. Both teams, support ults. Coming up on Angelic, picked off. XL2 via Kirby just comes in, swoops in off the flank. And Square One now getting a taste of their own medicine. XL2 finding it in them to be a little bit more aggressive, and it pays dividends.
And the stagger's going to come out onto Hot Date as well. They demech him, they're leaving him behind the boops. This is a brutal stagger. Look how far away he is. They're eventually going to pick him up, and that means he will not be there for that recontest. In addition, XL2 has to get Haku back. So Square One actually should recognize this and still contest. Neither support ult are there for XL2.
Meanwhile, they do realize that they come out pretty aggressively here.
I thought they were going to be much more aggressive than that. Square One now back on the point. Ultraviolet does have that trance.
Might have to use it soon. Jolf is seeing a lot of damage here, and there hasn't been a whole lot of reprieve. XL2 opening up with the barrier. Big Ol saying, rally tweet off the edge! Jolf gone! Jer just treating him to the lower end Ike involved. And you're down to Reinhardt, but Boopy off the other side. 5-on-5, both teams. No grabs
combo.
out.
The combo for XL2.
It's a late self-destruct from Kirby. It's later than the grab, but still somehow gets stunned. And that could be the difference maker. It's a self-destruct the other side, not going to be doing nearly as much. XL2, Castle Gates going to be destroyed here shortly.
And still an okay defense for a second for Square One. Not the best. Jolf deciding to invest the Shatter, actually. Still, there's going to be the contest from Square One. I'm not a fan of that Shatter for Jolf, but, you know, whatever floats your boat there. Now they don't have it for this next fight. XL2 moving in, having a little over 3 minutes for the bank.
I mean, the scary thing here for Square One, it feels like on the upside they've been aggressive, but on the downside it's been sort of aggression without context, where they don't, I'm not sure they understand the best places to go in. They're just kind of hoping it works out.
But I'd rather be aggressive without context because you're not letting the enemy dictate the flow of the game for you at least.
Oh, I agree. It's definitely better than the alternative, but Joel eats a lot of damage. Good bubble on him, lets him heal back up. Still at risk of getting dived on here. Gonna need to back up a bit. Again, heavy fire strike. Heavy pressure, grab Eden! Looking at that, Hot Date just getting in Frill's face, stopping the grab in the nick of time. But XL2, they get a chance to breathe, and Moopy coming in with this Earth Shatter. See what he does.
Health not very good right now for Square One. There's the beat for Angelic. They're gonna be chasing.
Oh, he gets the grab!
Too.
Moopy was looking for the shadow to the back, doesn't quite work out, ends up falling the Jolt instead. Square One able to push him out of the castle.
Good hold for Square One so far, getting these frags, building up these ults. No combo up just yet for Square One, which is really the problem, because XL2 will have both support ults. They can live through a grab. It's going to be very much on Hot Date to build this bomb in time.
And Square One, at the very least, has a little bit of time here to breathe. 2 minutes left for XL2, and holding here in point C, not impossible.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, their ults are still very solid as well. 70% for Hot Date for that bomb. That's really the crux for this fight.
Heavy pressure coming on the Jolt. Square One needing to find a counter engage here. Moopy's shield getting pretty low. Jolt goes for the shatter. It's a little bit early. I don't think Square One was ready to follow up on an XL2. Still totally fine. Now they invest the grab and they get Jer immediately off of it, and the grab works out. In XL2, they don't want to use ults.
They decide not to invest any ults in that fight. I think a pretty smart move. And really the best thing for that was not only did they win the fight for Square One, but Hot Date has bomb. And now Square One have the option that they can look to use this bomb extremely aggressively. Bomb is very, very powerful here, denying the approach to this icon bomb.
Well, particularly on the bridge, I think that's part of why XL2 is going to approach that doesn't leave them as exposed. You go down the middle, then you're wide open to that. Moopy under heavy shield pressure here. XL2 haven't used the grab super early, and now they're going to use the self-destruct to just protect against the fall through from the grab. Kirby self-destruct, though, going to get Angelic. And Square One still in a bit of a bind. Square
One has to make a move here. They need to die or get out right now. There's the shadow used for both blinds. Nothing really coming of it. Moopy cleaning up here on point. Kirby getting 2.
Jolt just doesn't care what the situation is. Like, do I have shatter? I'm going to use it. Yeah, it's a hit Q on cooldown for Jolt right now.
But still a very good defense for Square One now. He has only the double support ults up for XL2. Square One going to be coming out close to beat, close to their combo. So very, very holdable.
Square One, 30 seconds left to defend. XL2 looking to get the full 3 on the map right here and right now. Square One holding a bit back. Joel now saying it's time to move in. Gets chunked very heavily moving forward. Meanwhile, Hot Date self-destruct to the skies. Can they break the shield? They get Frill.
And now that's really all they need, but this is last fight for XL2. They have to commit.
Well, they used a barrier, but one barrier going to be answered by another. Graviton looping in Moopy. Going to be forcing out the Transcendence on the other side, so Moopy still in it. Kirby says, let's blow things up. Self-destruct right down the middle, but easily shielded off as he's looking for it. In Square One, the rally of their own, looking a little bit beefy. XL2, meanwhile, looking drained. Hot Date, though, going to get demected. Jolt is in danger. Jolt getting healed up just in the nick of time. Ultraviolet holding on to the Transcendence. Going to have to use it here in response to the grab.
He gets it.
He gets charged away, but he's able to get back in. No one ends up falling. It was a good charge attempt by Moopy.
Clean up Moopy. Jolt so close to the shatter. Duck so close to this grab.
It's looking pretty decent. Self-destruct, though, coming up here once more from Kirby. Gets 2! And XL2 still in this. They might finish it out after all.
I mean, they will finish it out. There's no one alive. Hot Date, the only one going to clean up very, very soon. It's just stagger test for Square One, but it should be cleaned up for XL2.
So back and forth here. Emergency ham coming on to the point, but Square One now in a very, very tough position.
I mean, Dove's coming back, but the Shatter's out. They still have Trance. They'll be fine for XL2.
This should be it for XL2 in finishing this out. I mean, Square One, though, they're getting a lot of people back on the point. This shouldn't be This absolutely should not be happening right now.
Where is the focus fire for XL2?
How did XL2 not kill anyone in that entire exchange when they invested everything through?
I mean, that should be it now, right? The grab's out.
Barrier came in. Self-destruct. Okay, now it's over.
Kirby getting another. Kirby having a lot of self-destruct kills here. This is just an incredibly long stagger from Square One.
You know, normally I'd give credit to defense being like, man, good way of bringing that back. It should never have gone that long. XL2, for all the power they had there, should have been able to finish that out quite a bit sooner.
It did. It took them a little bit of time there, and really it comes down to focus fire. Focus fire is such an important element that's just overall neglected in terms of how you look how strong a team is. And also for 3-3 in particular, you just need to you have to burst down targets incredibly quickly.
So looking at the overall situation, the map here, I'd say for XL2, you're still reasonably okay with this. I mean, we really don't see teams finish out Eichenwald super frequently. It's very holdable before last. Square one on the flip side is that if they are able to set a quick time, if they are able to defy those odds, XL2 used all their time. So in the rarity that they finished with 1 minute and 1 second left, they would have, of course, the very easy win condition of only needing to get 33%. So both teams having something they can look forward to here. In Square one, you know, this could be for real.
Could be. I find it possible. We've seen this triple DPS support, this triple support comp, I should say, used multiple times, especially when you're expecting Sombra. If you're expecting Sombra, no Diva, then having that Ana means your heals can't be eaten, your nades can't be eaten, and you can give a lot of value to the rest of your team. Well,
not only that too, but it's something that's underrated is that the Ana can also very easily decide to change focus and go on the Pharah at the same time that your Diva is. So what's damage to a Pharah that might be shrugged off actually turns lethal if the Ana can just change focus fire at the right time.
Also considering that if the coordination there is strong, you can put the Discord there with the Pharah and then have both the Ana and Diva focus. So very easy to get that burst kill.
Ultraviolet gonna get chunked pretty early on here, Square one. Just kind of floating the way in, and again, what we'll be telling here is the pressure that's going to be
looking
moving
like
the
they're going to make the swap. I think Square one are just going to go back and swap to 3-3.
Yeah, I don't think they liked where this was at. Big Ol was eating a bit of poke damage from afar, and yeah, 3-3, it's back on the menu.
And this is the benefit of being offense, and when you commit to a composition for the defense, you can't swap. You can't really go back. Square one now, moving in. They have the Diva up, meaning there's going to be a lot less value for Taki, and they have more shield pressure.
Yeah, I mean, the key here for Yaki is that Yaki needs to land a good bio nade. Look for purple to show up on Square one here. It goes in the hot date. That's it. They can get the DMAC. It's still pretty good, but hot date able to kind of get away there. Jolf under pressure, healed back up. XL2 starting to get a little bit low themselves. Kirby being the backup. They're getting positioned off and away as Square one gets more aggressive, but Ultraviolet gets picked. And now as a result for that, Square one in a real rough spot.
The antis for Yaki looking so good. I think I had food on mine. I said Taki there, you know, have the chip, but Yaki, great anti-nade there. Denying the heals onto Ultraviolet, keeping the point up. He will have that nano triple support ult up for XL2.
You gotta stop talking about food, man. I'm just barely hanging in here. You keep saying it, and it's gonna kill me. The Murloc with ramen almost killed me.
That's true. The Murloc with ramen definitely triggering your hunger there. Now, Square one moving back in. Coming up to some of their ults soon, but XL2 have that superior ult bank for this fight.
See what they do here. Nano boost in reserve for Yaki. And again, pay attention to the nano. Pay attention to the bio nade for XL2 as they try and hold this off. Square one, slowly move in. Early Graviton coming on in. Yaki hanging back, and charge bomb. Gonna do the work there for XL2, and they don't even have to use the nano boost.
No, didn't have to use it at all. Didn't have to use any of their support ults. Well played from XL2. Good combo, setting up perfectly. Moopy waiting for the right moment to charge. Now this is Square one's fight. This is their fight to take. They're coming up on triple support ult. They have grab, they have shatter. This is it.
XL2's looking for the bamboozle here, though. They're looking pretty aggressive. Yaki's from the back. This is to give him a good bio nade, and he's got a nano boost on Orion. Sleep Dart already used defense matrix in his base. This is where he can just drop this.
Good anti on the Big Ol. Yeah. Big Ol so hurt.
The good shield block as well. Moopy right in it, and they get the DMAC. Drops the shatter right after. Hit the ground, and the fall through gonna be there.
Square one needing to back up. They just haven't had a solution to Yaki just yet. Those nades getting too much value. That was really their fight to win, considering the rally was out for Big Ol. They were going to use it to try to run over the front line of XL2, but because Big Ol was so hurt, he gets antied. He cannot be aggressive.
Not quite what they were looking for Square one. XL2 on the verge of evening up the series here and now. 1 minute left on this defense, with Square one coming in well armed.
Square one on the point. They're looking for the setup. They have the combo. Look at this shield presence.
Barrier can be up from XL2. They try and turn the tables. Transcendence in reserve. Self-destruct in the sky. Hot date. Looking for something here. Transcendence out. Gonna keep Zen alive. Self-destruct, or Barrier now up for Square one. Kirby going for self-destruct, trying to make it even. Not quite gonna connect. Yaki down. Kirby in a bit of danger. And Boopy holding onto the shatter. Taken for a ride. Not gonna be able to bring it down. Square One gonna get this payload moving.
Finally, but a very good first event for XL2. Having it last a very, very long time there. Little less than 3 minutes to push through streets, to push through second of Eichenwald for Square One. Not a lot in their bank to work with, though. They are coming up on that grab, and they have the shadow.
Alrighty. 2 minutes, 38 seconds left here for Square One. They do need the makeup time. XL2, of course, on their attack. They were able to finish out the map in full, so long way to go.
Square One need to be using these ults extremely effectively if they want to have a good push. They want to try to only use one at a time.
They're going to drop down for early. Haku's down. What a good pickoff here, and Joel might use the Earth Shatter for cleanup potentially. Early Shatter coming in the other way from Moopy. Gets Ultraviolet.
He still doesn't use the Shatter, which I think is the right move here. They're going to win the fight over time anyways. Well, never mind.
You know what? Why do you have to say that?
Why do I have to say that?
You dared him into doing the Shatter there for
why
cleanup.
would you drop the Shatter so late in the fight?
You have no reason.
You have the frags. You're cleaning up your spawn advantages there. You're going to win. Joel, I know he just does it because he wants to secure the fight, but you really would wish you have the Shatter for this recontest now. I guess it's equal at least because Boopy used his own.
Joel just throws Shatter out. Whether it makes sense or not, is it up? It's going down.
Now, Square One still pushing the point here, and most importantly, they have Grab and Bomb, no support ults up for XL2. They could realistically only use Grab.
Square One rotating over, trying to limit the chance of getting booped away. Graviton in, Hot Take, lobbing the self-destruct over. The fall through, absolutely there. Castle Door is going to be heading down. This is so good for Square One. They made up a lot of time on point B.
Incredible amount of time. And they really, like I said, didn't even have to use that bomb, but they did. Now coming up on both their support ults, coming up on that Shatter once again. XL2, this is going to be their fight. It's sort of the, sometimes I've heard people jokingly say, like, it's my turn to play now in Overwatch because, you know, you use your ults, you win fights, and now you have ults, so it's your turn. Yeah, Player 2, you get to go.
I'm pretty sure that's just the FGC seeping in the Overwatch because that is a common thing where you're stuck in combo and you're just saying, is it my turn to play? And if you're playing Marvel, the answer is probably not. Or DB Fighter Z nowadays. But Graviton, Gibby coming in here from XL2, self-destruct, ready. And XL2 gonna get precious stabilization here as two fall down and they get a little bit of room, but Square One, there's still an outside chance they could finish with over a minute left.
They had a chance. I think it might have flown out the window there considering Joel invests the Shatter and Ultraviolet Trance there. So XL2 will be holding on to all three of their support ults in the Shatter of their own.
XL2 holding a little bit aggressive, and yeah, I think this is what they need to do. Again, they need to avoid the nightmare scenario of Square One finishing in the next 40 seconds.
Yeah, they should definitely hold aggressive and use their support ults aggressively.
Yeah. You want to make sure that you have another attack no matter what. Now I think you're right, they've just about secured it, even if they lose this fight terribly. Moopy, shield under a lot of pressure, reads it!
That's a lot of people down.
Drops the Shatter!
And drops beat too. There was no way that Square One were going to be able to survive that fight.
No. That's just the classic panic. Oh, my team's all about to die. Drop the beat. And it's like, no, no, no. You let them die.
Yeah, that would have been a great exchange considering they gave no ults and getting the rally and the Shatter out. Now XL2 still holding on to both of their support ults, to building their own grab. Square One, they're sort of caught in a trap here because they're going to have to use ults to break through this hold, but they won't have them for the next fight.
This is really good for XL2. Obviously now out of the danger zone, where they'll get an attack no matter what. And XL2 just hold back a little bit. Square One moving in. Rally, gonna be invested.
Good Shatter from Joel.
Heavy pressure coming in. XL2 gonna be losing Yaki immediately off of that Shatter. So, I mean, Joel, again, doesn't wait a whole while, but definitely gets value there.
Ultraviolet staying alive, so crucial there. We see the stagger kills coming out onto point. This is actually even better for Square One because they're continuing to build ult. They're gonna have combo up alive, and now they get the car push. But this is last fight. There won't be another fight after this.
This is the very end. Square One.
And XL2's ult bank looking extremely scary.
Yeah, Square One, they need to get an early pickoff here. They need one of the classic situations where, like, Hako needs to die with Transcendence in reserve, right? That's what Square One is looking for. That'd be really aggressive, make it happen. Early barrier coming out. Everyone from XL2 grabbing grab out, self-destruct in. Hot Date needs something from this, and he gets Frill! Square One, man advantage, self-destruct the other way from Kirby. Both Saryas getting blown to smithereens.
Harbor.
5 on 5.
Can they get Moopy? Can they get Moopy? Joel has Shatter.
Well, they're looking for it. They also have to stay on the point at the same time as Square One. Desperately trying to fight it out. Moopy taken for a ride. Square One's in it.
Joel must live. Joel has to live. No,
he falls.
Picks him up. It's still winnable though. Big Ol, he's in the back line. Angelic.
Hot Take gets his mech back. He's getting his mech back. Did enough on the baby Diva. And now Square One still in the fight. They need respawns to come back in. They need to finish off Kirby fast. XL2, their spawn is closer. They're coming right back out. Hot Take gonna get demeched again.
Well, here's the bomb once again from Kirby. We'll look at anyone. It splits them. Ultraviolet so close to that trance. Or is he going to be able to get it? It's so important here if they're going to sustain. I think the fight's over, though.
It's too much of a respawn advantage. Square one, they can transcend all they want. They don't have the personnel here that they need. Joel going to charge in once more. Barry invested by XL2. No one on the payload. And we are all even here in our last match of the day, 1-1 between these two teams.
Very close there for Square One, but not able to pick it up in the end. It's really, when it came down to it, it's what I talked about there on that last hold. XL2 held forward, forced the ult out very early for Square One, and they didn't have it up for the final fight. Sure, they had ults. They had an okay situation, but there was just more ults.
No.
There's just more ults up for XL2 because they had the better economy there.
Very, very back and forth. I mean, also exciting to the same extent where I don't think either team was playing perfectly, but the sort of flaws between the two definitely made for some exciting fights.
For sure. I think this is a much closer series. We're seeing Square One and also the relative strengths of the new XL2 Academy as well. It seems pretty evenly matched so far. I don't think there's any clear advantage for either team right now. You know, it's really who makes the least mistakes, the least amount of mistakes right now.
Totally agreed. It's going to be decided on maps 3 and 4. The first half done and out of the way. But guys, we do have to take a quick break. When we come back, the conclusion will be here.